We can't seem to get anybody to talk to us. We just zip up, like my mama used to say.
The reason people don't want to talk to you is because they're afraid it'll get back to the law.
We are the law.
Not around here, you ain't.
Why aren't you afraid?
How come you ain't?
Aaron?
Mississippi Burning is a crime thriller drama film directed by Alan Parker based on true events that occurred in Mississippi in 1964. On the night of June 21st, 1964, 3 civil rights workers, Andrew Goodman, Michael Schwerner, and James Chaney, were murdered in Philadelphia, Mississippi by members of the local Klan, as well as the local sheriff's office. With the men missing, the FBI sends 2 agents down to Mississippi to investigate. In charge of the case is Alan Ward, played by Willem Dafoe, a younger, clean-cut northerner who worked in the Kennedy Justice Department and does things by the book. Working alongside him is Rupert Anderson, played by Gene Hackman. An older agent, Anderson was once himself a sheriff of a small Mississippi town and has a much more laid-back approach.
They put me in charge because I've been through this before.
Birmingham, Montgomery?
Oxford. I was with Meredith at Ole Miss.
Oh, yeah. You got hit in the head with a brick, and so they gave you a promotion, right?
No. Shot in the shoulder.
Well, at least you lived. That's important.
No, Meredith lived. That's what's important.
The 2 head to the local sheriff's office and meet Deputy Clayton Pell, played by Brad Dourif. Anderson does not take kindly to Pell.
That getup, you ain't exactly undercover, are you now?
We're here to see Sheriff Stuckey.
Sheriff's right busy now. You'll have to wait or come back some other time.
We'll wait.
Listen to me, you backwoods shit-ass you. You got about 2 seconds to get the sheriff out of here. I'm gonna kick the goddamn door in.
They then meet Sheriff Ray Stuckey, played by Galliard Sartain.
Well, you think it might be a little more serious than missing persons?
I don't think so, boy. In fact, you know what I think it is? It's a publicity stunt cooked up by that Martin Luther King fella.
With the sheriff's department and the townsfolk influenced heavily by a branch of the KKK, Wade and Anderson meet heavy resistance while trying to investigate the case.
Get the light! Get the light! You all right? I guess they know we're here.
The 2 also find themselves rebuffed by the mayor of the town, Mayor Tillman, played by R. Lee Ermey.
Simple fact is, Anderson, we got 2 cultures down here. White culture and the colored culture. Now that's the way it always has been. That's the way it always will be.
The rest of America don't see it that way, Mr. Mayor.
Rest of America don't mean jack shit. You in Mississippi now.
That's for sure.
Anderson befriends Deputy Pell's wife, played by Frances McDormand. She knows her husband is likely involved in things she doesn't want to even imagine.
What's so goddamn important you got to bother me at home?
Well, I just wanted to run through once again your movements on June 21st.
June which?
June 21st. Now, Deputy, we both know what day we're talking about, so let's do this civilized, and the sooner you can get back to your ball game and we can get back to Washington.
This is a nice house. How long you lived here?
I was born here. But my father lost the house in a poker game one night, long time ago. We've been paying rent ever since.
It's a wicked game. Poker.
Wicked.
It's nice talking to you. Guess I gotta go.
Ward continues his methods of investigation, talking to potential key witnesses in public, much to the distress of Anderson. This eventually causes even more problems.
That's a kid from the diner. Now maybe you'll think twice before you talk to colored kids with an audience.
They soon find the car of the missing civil rights workers.
I guess they never left Mississippi.
Yeah, they're dead. They're dead. Mr. Bird?
Yes, sir.
There's a telephone back at the truck stop. Get to it, get on it, and get me 100 more men here by morning.
Don't do it, Mr. Ward. Let's start a war.
It was a war long before we got here.
As the bodies of the civil rights workers are eventually discovered, the FBI ramps up their full-field investigation, with Anderson and Ward coming to blows.
We're not killers. That's the difference between them and us.
That's the difference between them and you.
You're not any more like them than I am.
Wrong. What do you care what I do with some bitch hiding behind a sheriff's badge? Don't you have the whole world to change?
That's right, and I'm changing.
Oh, you're just as arrogant as you are stupid.
You're changing it too.
I damn well gonna make some changes right now.
Don't be so stupid. Don't go messing this up just because you're partial to fooling around with witnesses.
This movie was based off of real events that occurred in Mississippi in 1964. The filmmakers did not retain the names of actual people, and many of the supporting characters were composites of people related to the murder case. Brian Dennehy was briefly considered for the role of Rupert Anderson before Gene Hackman was cast. Don Johnson campaigned heavily for the role that would eventually go to Willem Dafoe. This was actor Tobin Bell's first credited role, and he would find huge success in the 2000s horror film franchise Saw. This is also the film debut of actor Kevin Dunn, who would star in many, many films following this one, including Blue Steel, Only the Lonely, Dave, and many, many more. Brad Dourif plays Deputy Clayton Pell. Brad Dourif would wind up being best known for playing the serial killer Charles Lee Ray in the Child's Play horror franchise, whose spirit, and Brad Dourif's voice, inhabits a doll named Chucky. Frances McDormand's character is based on Connor Price, wife of Deputy Cecil Ray Price. The movie was filmed in Mississippi from March through May of 1988. The name Mississippi Burning was the name of the actual FBI case that was abbreviated M.I. Burn. Mississippi Burning was released into movie theaters December 9th, 1988, and grossed a worldwide total of $34.6 million on a budget of just $15 million, making this movie a box office success. Many critics gave this movie very high acclaim, and film critic Roger Ebert chose Mississippi Burning as his top favorite film of 1988.
You know, as I was watching it, in the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of stuff on television about the anniversary of President Kennedy's assassination. Right. And a lot of it has also included other stuff about that period. It's easy to forget that as recently as 1963, all of this stuff was still to happen. That a lot of things that we now take for granted hadn't happened yet, and the civil rights case was right at the center of things. This movie goes back to that period in history, and by recreating that one story, it brings back a whole chapter of American history.
It didn't make my top 10, but it would have been about 12 when I started computing them. I had actually about 21 films this year that were competing for the top 10 slots. For me, it's a little bit formula in the sense of the two cops together solving this case. It's not done in a formula way. It's done expertly and acted wonderfully, and I'm glad you focus on the Frances McDormand character, who's really pivotal in this thing as a love interest and investigation interest of Gene Hackman. I think she's what, oddly enough, lifts the film into the best films of the year.
I do remember hearing about this movie when I was a kid in the 1990s, and I finally saw it around the time I was a young teenager.
You got a stupid smile, you know that, pal? Can you see it? Huh? Come on! You smile when the bulldozer ran over the black kid's body? Did you? Did you smile when the bodies were covered over? Did you? Smile, pal? Did you smile?
As a movie buff, if somebody asked me which Gene Hackman policeman character was best, The French Connection or Mississippi Burning? Ooh, it might be Mississippi Burning.
Make no mistake about it, Deputy. I'll cut your fucking head clear off and not give a shit how it reads in the report sheet.
I think it's a fantastic movie, and it is one of the movies, and not every movie is like this, that I can watch again and again and never really get tired of. I highly recommend the 1988 historical crime drama thriller, Mississippi Burning.